Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, depending upon where you are on this great green earth. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties. It is Saturday morning still in Southern California. Here we go again. I keep forgetting that as we're broadcasting on YouTube now, I got to go and silence the monitor that I have checking to make sure that we're live. So at least we know that YouTube is broadcasting us live with a few seconds delay and that this is working. We're all still getting used to the old YTL HOA concept, YouTube Live, Hangouts on Air. Now, I'm hopeful that Hangouts on Air are going to continue on, but we are still living in this dilemma of what to do with the comment stream. You'd think it would be easy. You would think it would be simple, and you would think these YouTube and Google experts would have this figured out long before this moment. But inevitably, no. So I know that it's a complicated thing, and the two predominant issues are this: that YouTube, the comments are cool because they stay right where they are, but they don't last. They go away at the end of the event. What good is that? I don't know. And then the embedment of the YouTube video in a community or in a post or a page works, but the comments feed to the bottom and drive you away from the video, so you can't watch the video and attend to the comments at the same time. So inevitably, we're here suggesting that people can watch the YouTube video or they can watch it in a post someplace, but you pretty much have to open up a second window. Now, we're not talking about two screens. We're talking about splitting your window, your monitor, and using two windows foreshortened in the width so that you can see both the video and make comments at the same time. So that way you can adjust the comments and the video doesn't go away. Now, I did a short video on this last week, and I hope that is available for those who are confused about what I just said. And if anyone has a better solution, we're all ears, digital ears listening for solutions. But anyway, people are commenting in the YouTube stream, but the problem with that, as I said, is it's not going to be there very long. So we're going to discuss these things today. We're also going to bring up some news and tell you about some things going on. And we're also going to give you a demonstration or two of some new things that people are just now getting used to. And even though they've been out for some months or a few weeks or up to 6 months, they still feel new and people are not readily jumping on all this stuff. So we're going to introduce you to a couple things today and bring you up to date. And to do this, we're going to have a couple other people joining me in the conversation, and they are Molly Youngblood Geiger, for one. And say hi, Molly, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Molly, and my agency's name is Design Right For You. I'm located in Jacksonville, Florida, and I participate with Google in several different arenas. Most recently, one of my managers at Google, who is actually the Hangouts Help Forum manager, just named me as a top contributor. So I'm super excited to be talking about this subject today. I'm all about Hangouts, and I'm ready to try and discuss some of these problems that we're having and what we can do to work around them.
Good deal. So our other partner in the green room today is Karen V. Chin, our San Francisco marketer. So Karen, say hi and tell us a little bit about how the weather is in San Francisco.
Oh, it's actually pretty warm today. I'm out here in San Francisco. I am a social media marketing consultant, and I am excited to talk about this topic because I can see now what you're talking about, Roland. It's very hard to find the comment stream, and we're to actually have this conversation today. So hopefully everyone is with us and we can actually have a really good, thorough discussion on how we can actually work with what we have with Hangouts and the evolution of Hangouts at this moment.
Thank you. And it's going to be ongoing. We're doing a lot of research, and various people are suggesting some potentially good solutions, and we're testing them out. But we haven't come up with a good replacement. I don't know if we ever will, but we're hoping to come up with a replacement for the event pages. Because no matter whether you like Google Plus or not, the event page was styled and designed with all of the right elements. The comment stream immediately below the video, feeding from the top, and doing it basically did everything right. So if you're going to attend to an event, it all worked right there. And that was I don't know if they're going to improve upon that idea, but YouTube, get to work. So in the meantime, there have been some suggestions, and I believe I would even check and see if it should be playing in my website right now, so I'm just going to double check and make sure that is. So allow me the test to prove
Roland,
that embedding.
Roland, we have Andrew Hatchett on watching us.
Yes.
So hi, Andrew. His first comment on the comment stream that I can see here. It says, first thing, he says it in bold, all caps, screaming, leave feedback to YouTube. Keep chat comments after it ends. And yes, I'm shouting.
Well, yeah. My basic strategy was going to be at least capture the stream before we end the event, and we'll do that. But I mean, if you don't, that's going to be a very tedious thing. There's also, once you capture it, what do you put it? What are we going to do with all the comments so that we can review them later and then engage in conversation around the very important subjects being expounded upon in the YouTube comments? Now, to me, that's gold, like running downstream, and we have to figure out a way to trap that and catch it for our reference and for the audience's value of their participation. I mean, we owe it to them to be able to say, if you're going to comment here, we value your input, and indeed, if we don't follow up on the things they say, a lot of gold is lost, because I look back at some of the events that we've had, many of the events that we've had, and I think as I'm reading through the comments of prior event pages and think, wow, that's right. And I'll make notes on things said last week or last month or last year practically. I look at the events and say, you know, this was really a good subject, and we covered this and this and this, and this is how it's changed between last year and this. So the record of the comment stream and whatever we discussed, not just the presentation in the video, but the comments, is very valuable. And I've always thought that that was the heart and soul of why Google Hangouts really, really did shine, because we had that opportunity for ultimate engagement. And now they've taken that aspect of ultimate engagement and destroyed the opportunity, and now we're trying to rebuild it conceptually. So that's basically where we are right now. So I'll take a breather on the subject unless someone's got something biting on their tongue that they want to add to this.
You know, I keep thinking about, you know, what they're doing, and do you really think that they're really trying to break it? I mean, I understand they're breaking up, but maybe what they're trying to do is kind of separate, but then it's going to come back where Hangouts itself, it's going to be, as Molly has said in the past, more of a business video conferencing tool. And so that aspect of the event, you know, thread and all that stuff that we're missing at this moment will come back, and maybe with the new release, you know, with Dual and Alto and all that other stuff that's coming through, that Hangout portion will come back. Because it just seems kind of crazy for what, you know, we're doing today with having this conversation, that we can't have a comment thread, a go-to place, right?
Sure.
Whether it's on YouTube or, you know, or Hangouts, but at some area, I would imagine for Google, they've got to be thinking about this.
Well, you would think. I don't know. The answer is that I don't know. And in the meantime, there's a lot of opportunity lost, but they're going to come up with something, because they can't be so blind as not to see the need. So I am hopeful that we'll be able to see the need and do something with that. In the meantime, I want to take a bit of a break off the subject, because we're going to get caught up in this subject, and it's going to be the end of the show. and we're going to miss out on all the things that we want to add that educate our audience in and around Hangouts, because it's not the only problem that we're faced with. One of the things that we're confronting as an issue is the new wave of all kinds of new apps for video communications. I mean, there's dozens of them, and like here, let me share my screen and show you some of the things that we've been running into here.
While you're doing that, Ron, I just quickly wanted to mention to people that if you're using any Google product and you have a suggestion, you can go to Google Feedback, and there's an area there where you can actually leave your feedback of, whether it be an improvement, or maybe you don't like something about a certain product, and it could be any Google product. Personally, I think there's going to be a lot of feedback about this particular issue, because before in Google Plus, we did have the ability to, communicate and get feedback from our users, and now that's kind of limited. So, something else to consider is, just do a poll on Google Plus, and actually share that poll with Google and say, hey, these are the large number of people that are really missing this feature. So I just wanted to mention, and if you're not sure where to go find Google Feedback, just go Google Feedback, and it'll take you to the
Good, thank you, Molly. I think that we'll need a reminder of that weekly, and actually encourage people to comment, because a lot of us are speaking the same language about what we're seeing, what we're experiencing, but Google doesn't know when we have a conversation about it. So to tell it and report it and get some leverage on the feedback would be a good idea. Okay, everybody, I've got this one article that I was reading, and you can see this was dated February 4th. So it's, 8 months, 6 months later, right? But 6 months ago, this lady, an author, identified 4 new streaming media elements, which she thought was like the most important things to mention. And I just wanted to show you what she mentioned. First one was Periscope. So in her mind's eye, that was the first thing worth mentioning. The second thing worth mentioning was Facebook Live. Okay, now this is going to crack you up probably. The third thing mentioned is Hangouts on Air. She loves them. And now watch this. The fourth is Blab. So Blab's non-existent. Hangouts has migrated, and it just blows me away that this is the view. This is the view of the future of streaming media. What does that tell us? It tells me that everything's changing so fast that some of these things are going away. So 25% of them don't exist anymore, and another 25% is probably worthless to pursue, and does not apply to marketing. If Facebook Live and all this stuff, it's all social media, social. And the people there around these apps that are thinking, this is how you advertise on Facebook, and this is how you use Facebook Live to promote your business, 80% of them have it wrong. I use the 80-20 rule. I abuse the 80-20 rule, and the concept is that 80% of the people are speaking the language, but they're telling you the wrong stuff. I mean, I believe that wholeheartedly, mainly because 80% and maybe more of the advertising world is still stuck on outbound broadcast marketing. And if you take a look at these things that we're talking about, they are broadcast tools. They are not engagement tools. They talk about engagement, and they say that they're for engagement, but the only one listed in this set of 4 was Hangouts that actually allows for engagement, and that was because of the comment opportunity. Now, if we don't conquer the comment opportunity, we're going to have to find a new way to really leverage engagement. So we have a couple ideas today, and we'll bring those up and be telling you about it. So that was in February of 2016. Here's another article, and I won't go over every single one of these, but if anyone wants the link, just contact me and I'll give it to you. But this is May 2016. And this guy says 12 apps for live streaming video. Now he lists Facebook Live, Periscope, Stream Up, which is interesting, but not really. And that's a new one that's coming up. Hang With, Live Stream, StringWire, Ustream. Ustream is the most expensive. It's like $100 or $99 a month. Most of them are free or low priced. Most of them are free. Then there's Nom. So Meerkat. Well, Meerkat is like all but barely hanging on now. Snapchat will be doing things, but I mean it's also limited in age group and focus of the concept. So those are some of the things. Oh, and YouTube Connect, which we have a whole new article about from VentureBeat, and that's right here. No, let me see. Oh, VentureBeat. YouTube's coming up with this thing called YouTube Connect to take on Periscope, because you notice that Periscope was the #1 thing usually, that and Facebook Live. But I mean Periscope, well, YouTube Connect doesn't sound like it's going to be that much different than Periscope or Duo and stuff, maybe with a few little accents and changes. But all of these things tell me that they're focused on broadcasting, not engagement. So people listening in the audience and the people in the green room, you tell me whether you think these things are broadcast tools and whether they even stand a chance to compete with the concept of what Google Hangouts represents. I would like to hear from anybody. And by the way, comment tracker is a null and void issue, I think, anymore. So I think that there's no access. It wouldn't load into my Hangout today, and it won't allow me to share and get a link to the post or anything, so I couldn't even think about executing a proper comment tracker opportunity. So sorry about that.
Actually, Andrew Hatchett had another comment about Molly about the polling process and said basically if Google was really interested, they could run a poll of their entire membership to figure out, what to do with Hangouts.
I wonder if they're just afraid of what they would hear, and there could be a couple things coming on. I half expect that they are designing something that they are going to introduce because they want to be the best. They want to be better, and they've probably got something up their sleeve. But at the same time, there's all this feedback. I wonder if they're waiting for all the feedback to settle down a little bit until they make the final adjustments to whatever it is they're going to present us. Which is ludicrous because they had the best thing in the first place. Go ahead, Molly.
I was just going to say, I know with just a regular YouTube video that after the video's done and uploaded, you can still make comments. So I'm wondering if maybe they're going the direction that, I know we're talking about live comments. That's what we're talking about. But I'm wondering if they're trying to make a shift towards, I guess, historical comments, meaning like after the live Hangout on Air has been published to YouTube, if maybe they're focusing on historical comments versus live comments. I would be interested to, and I might even ask somebody when I go out there in about three and a half weeks, because I would be curious to know. I mean, where were their, the direction in terms of, the able to take those live comments and interact with them. I mean, certainly, the historical comments are of value, but I think the live comments are of value too, and I'd be interested to see how they could integrate that with the historical comments.
Yeah, and the other thing missing between the historical versus the live is that nothing can beat the energy of the live conversation. I mean, it's right here, right now, and to include people in the Hangout via comment track or some kind of tool to say this is what so-and-so says sitting out in the audience somewhere in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and they're going to join us in this East Coast or West Coast conversation and say they think blah, blah, blah. And when you do this, it does a number of things. It makes the person on that end feel like they're recognized, and just to a little mini degree, feel like a star, like they've contributed something that was of enough value that it was added to the show. So,
I mean, I really believe that YouTube, with Google, YouTube is actually they're just going to expand YouTube in terms of the ability to actually include live comments if there is an ongoing, or not ongoing, but a live event, because it just seems kind of crazy that you can comment on YouTube and you can watch any video, whether it's today, today, or 5 years ago. You can always comment on it, and the audience who has seen it can see the comments if the notifications are up, for them. So there is that form of communication. So I would imagine for YouTube they've got to be thinking about this.
I can't imagine they're not.
I'd be curious to know if maybe they're working on a bigger, better, faster YouTube.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's in their court, and they've got a lot of people chomping at the bit. Basically,
because I think Molly, right? I mean, there's the TC meetup that's happening, but are there any other, Google events that are coming up, that are for the public in terms of, getting, their message out there in terms of like maybe new product? Because I mean, there's I/O, right? That's just been done. So is there anything now from now until the end of the year?
Not from now until the end of the year, but usually around April or May they have the Performance Summit, and it's usually held either at headquarters or this year they didn't hold it at headquarters. They held it at a hotel, but it's primarily geared towards the latest, greatest. This is what we're working on. This is our focus. Like in particular, they were focusing on mobile, and they also released some updates about Google AdWords and analytics. They did use Hangouts. So they use Hangouts as a way to broadcast this. So in terms of just general information, I would say look out for the the Performance Summit next year. I don't have a date, but in terms of what we're talking about in with this issue with YouTube and live comments, I'd be interested to see if they actually have a way to address the subject, because of the fact that it really is kind of zinged a lot of people. They weren't really kind of caught them off guard whenever they took that that feature away. I personally would love to see live comments come back. I agree with Roland that it's a way to engage with an audience member, and maybe take a problem you're working on and put it right up there. But yeah, in terms of just general information, there's also Google Partners Connect events. There's one coming up September the 28th. Ironically, I will be flying, so I will not be. I'm actually doing a virtual one this year. This particular Google Partners Connect event is going to address mobile. So their product manager, or excuse me, the product director of their mobile unit at Google, he's actually going to be discussing mobile optimization, sharing some statistics about mobile users and why it's important for a business to optimize. And speaking of that, I think that's one reason why Hangouts, the product, is mobilizing itself. So essentially what they're doing is they're taking the entire Hangout platform and they're dissecting it into video conferencing, which is Duo. You have Allo coming out, which has not been released yet, but you can sign up for the app prior to release. That's going to handle messaging. So it's like a messaging app. And then why they've taken Hangouts on there and they kind of transferred it over to YouTube. They're trying to personalize like the app on mobile. Okay, so in terms of that, YouTube already has an app, so they don't need to address that in terms of live Hangouts on there. But in terms of just video conferencing and text messaging, that's why I think they're coming out with the Duo and the Allo app, is to mobilize the Hangout product.
But isn't it more of a one-to-one type of video conferencing?
It is absolutely one-to-one. It's only a one-to-one. So when you say conferencing, to me, Duo defeats the entire purpose of the idea of conferencing, because if you can't add somebody, you can't have a three-way conversation or even a meeting with 10 people. I mean, nothing right now is better than a Hangout.
Well, in terms of that, I would say that what they're doing is they're moving Hangouts on Air, which is more of a conferencing type software, or not software, but product.
Yes.
So you would be able to broadcast, say, like if you've got a team of employees that you need to include on a conference call, then I think they're moving towards that, to where the person can either access it by desktop or by mobile via the YouTube app, because you would be on a live Hangout on Air via YouTube.
Right.
Versus, say, a personal one-to-one video weighted conference, like maybe you just need to call your husband, or you want a video chat with a friend. You can just open up the Duo app and say, hey, I want to chat with you real quick via video. And in terms of that, also Allo that's coming out, if you don't want to get on video, some people are weird about being on video, they're still going to have that option where you can just text chat via the Allo app that's coming out.
Right, right. So we're going to pursue the video chat direct completely and in this actual live state now. And I'm going to ask Lolan Fulsang to join us via Duo. And she's going to call me right now. So Lolan, if you would go ahead and call, and I will explain to people what's going on as you call me up. Got my trusty little smartphone right in my hand. And if she's watching this live, of course, it's a 8 or 10 second delay before she gets the message. There she is. So right now my phone is ringing in the Duo app. Swipe to answer. With simple little swipe going on. And I believe if I turn my phone sideways. Hi, Lolan. How you doing? Okay. Oh, right, right. So I had to turn up my volume on my phone too. So right now I want to show everybody that Lolan is indeed with me on my cell phone, and this is her image. And right now with my camera like this, she's able to probably see the view of my camera and maybe the monitor that I have set up also, so that if I'm holding steady, and I don't assume I am, she's able to see my monitor, which is showing the actual Hangout on Air. So the vision that I have is that someone remote, if they can't get into a Hangout on Air, can still participate in an interview format with a Hangout on Air, just basically by being in Duo and being on the cell phone and then communicating with the host that way. Now, I further believe that we might be able to do something like mix the audio via a cable from the cell phone, and I could probably make the video. I can't increase the video input from here. Yeah, I'll figure that out, but right now I can't. But I could probably mix the audio so that her speech is a bit more heard. So I'm assuming that
you could do that actually by using Google Cast. So if you've got a dongle installed on a monitor and it's like outrageous, you can actually take her image and throw it from your Google Cast, as long as you have. Yeah, you would actually be able to take and throw it onto a monitor, where you could throw her phone call onto like a larger monitor.
Right. So Lolan just filled me in on a subject. When you're talking, Molly, she can't hear you because she's got her own computer turned off. But if she had her computer in a normal sense, she wouldn't need the phone to participate in the Hangout on Air. So the phone is okay for communicating with the host because I've got the phone right here in front of me and she can hear me. But when the other people are talking, she can't hear you. So what I'm thinking is the solution to this would be some sort of a mechanism that listens to it and actually mixes the conversations and feeds it back to Lolan. So I'll see what we can do with that, but it might be a bit of a challenge. At this point, at the very least, we're able to capture Lolan on a cell phone, and she's able to participate in limited remote fashion. So that's something that we're pursuing. And I thank you, Lolan.
Roland, give me an opportunity to say something about going to communities. I've been participating in your Hangout from the community, and I've discovered that if you manage the comment stream in the right way, you can see the most recent comment right under the video.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
From within the post in the community.
What about the stream of comments? Do they feed to the
Well,
top?
No,
Well,
it's
it does
no.
if you hit the button that says hide comments, and what it does then is it hides the whole stream and only shows what just got added.
I see. So let me ask a question while we're doing this duo thing. Can Karen and Molly hear what Lowell Ann is saying?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear her. Yes.
Okay, so there's limited communication effectiveness, and that's cool to know. So Lowell Ann, we will pursue the options with the comment stream and the community page, and I appreciate that. That's why I embedded that there.
Yeah.
I also embedded in my website, but of course there's no
Yeah.
comment.
I mean,
no
you can.
comments
I mean,
possible.
you can see the comments, and Vivi basically said that.
I'm also wondering if because it's a post in there, you should be able to get Comment Tracker to pick up those comments.
Should be, but I have my doubts because I couldn't even get the comment tracker app to load in the Hangout today. So we're going to go ahead and.
I was able to use it last Tuesday, so.
I was able to use it just a few days ago too, but I think that we've maybe crossed the threshold. Meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and end this conversation so that I can include my other co-hosts effectively. But thank you very much for joining us with Duo.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Luann.
Bye
Okay.
now.
Bye-bye.
I mean,
Okay, so
Ro- I
thanks
mean,
for
Ro-
putting up with
we-
that.
Yeah, Roland. I mean, you can basically see in your community that people are commenting, you know, on the right below your video. The only way that you can tell that things are active is you would have to kind of hit the refresh button every once in a while just to make sure that you can see comments. I mean, the last comment someone made was Andrew, and that was 11:38 our time, and it's 11:39 now out here in California.
Okay.
So it says, Andrew said, Roland, if you could put Loann on a speakerphone, that would probably solve the audio problem, wouldn't it?
Maybe, maybe not. She was on a speakerphone, and I had it on speakerphone, and I held her the
to your
phone
microphone.
up
To your
to this.
microphone.
So obviously some tactical measures need to be handled, but you know, it's doable. But I think that an audio mixer and some kind is probably necessary.
Yeah. I mean,
For this.
I really, like I said, I really think that there's going to be some sort of YouTube hybrid that's coming out in the near future where we can actually have our conversation, have it live, have that true engagement that we're having at this moment, because it just seems crazy that they would kill it and not be able to have this.
Exactly.
I mean,
For us to struggle.
yeah. I mean, it's just a matter of time. I think, as Molly said, that you had to dismember it, right? You had to break it up and dissect it to individual parts, and now they're going to then have to figure out how they're going to make probably Hangouts back to a video conferencing tool for a business where you would have multiple users at the same time.
Yeah. Agreed. So, God, there's so much going on. So I want to thank everybody in the audience, wherever you are, testing out the various concepts and helping us out. We have another test coming up in about 10 minutes, and it's going to have to do with Google Slides and the Slides app that's available through the free apps from Google, and it's the app that's supposed to take the place of PowerPoint, and I think it does a very good job of doing that. But they've taken it a step further, and we'll be explaining the new changes in a little bit. But I had a question for people, because this is something that Lowell Ann and I were talking about yesterday, and that I want to know how many people are using the Hangouts Chrome Desktop App And I'm not sure whether okay. It makes sense that Molly is. How about you, Karen?
Yeah.
Okay, so why didn't you guys tell me about this? I've been using the standard version, which of course feeds off of either your Google Plus page or feeds off of Gmail, and it pings the heck out of your computer on every page that you have open every time that you use it. And I don't seem to be having that happen anymore because I converted to this thing called the Hangouts Chrome Desktop App. And basically, if you Google Chrome Desktop App, or even if you go to the Chrome Web Store and look up the Hangouts apps, you have to specifically look for the app that is called a new edition. And whether it's new edition or how new it is, I don't know. Lowell Ann says that she's been using it for about 6 months. And the thing about this app is that it takes all the conversations that you're having in Google Hangouts and says, here, they're all in one right here. And it also allows you to have a bookmark set a taskbar shortcut that just goes and opens up the app. So when you turn your computer on in the morning or whenever you do, and you look at your blank computer, you go down to your taskbar, click a button, and all your communications are right there.
Mm-hmm.
So now I've been basing my business communications almost completely on my Hangouts and Google Gmail and my G Plus connections and my circles. That's how I've been organizing my business contacts. And I don't have an email list. I have my circles. And so that's how I do it. But now I've got a direct connection with all the people that I talk to all the time, day in, day out. And the Hangouts app, the desktop app, gives you a video call option, a phone call option,
Mm-hmm.
and of course the text option. And the other thing is that the chats are manipulatable. So here's what I want to do. I want to share my screen.
But the only thing it doesn't do, or many things it doesn't do, but one of the things it doesn't do, Roland, is that you can't, for example, put your name across the screen. Like you can't do that at all. I mean, you can basically have conversation. I mean, it's basically just a video chat.
Yeah, but we have Hangouts for anything that we want to brand, and this is for communicating and planning
Mm-hmm.
for events and affairs and doing things, and where you're going to plan to put your name and your branding out there, but
Mm-hmm.
this does not need the branding because this is more of a personal contact thing. But all my business contacts start here. If I want to talk to somebody about what we're going to be doing, either with the web stuff or a plan or even an event coming up, I make the contact here because you don't need to hang out on air to make plans.
No, and you can also load up, multiple people. I mean, I've got some Hangouts where I've got 62 people on it, so that we can all follow the comments. If all 62 people decide to comment, we can all see it because it's historic, so it doesn't go away.
Right. So you're saying the Hangout, like if I had this chat right here
Mm-hmm.
going on with Lowell Ann,
Mm-hmm.
I could add you and blah 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 and 100 more people if I wanted to all be involved in that chat. Now this does not have to do with video chats. So how many people can you add to a video chat? Is it still limited to 10?
I don't think you can. I think this is more just you can't film it.
I'm not asking that. I'm just asking how many people you can get into a video chat.
It depends on what product you're using. If you're using regular Hangouts, you can have up to 10 people. If you're using Hangouts on Air via the Google Work for Apps, you can have up to 15 people.
Yeah, but from the Google Chrome Desktop App, how many people can you add? 10?
10.
Okay, so
10.
nothing's changed with the video. You can still add more people, up to 10.
Something else I would actually throw out there, since we're talking about the different ways you can access Hangouts, is the Chrome extension. So there's an extension that you can add to your Chrome browser. So if you use Chrome on a regular basis, you literally can just one-click it and it'll start a Hangout. You're referring to the Hangouts Desktop App, which is great if you're on desktop. One other thing I would throw out there, though, is the Hangouts Dialer. So if you're on your mobile device and you want to make a phone call, a lot of people don't realize this, but if you are located in the United States or Canada, you are allowed to make free phone calls. And the way that we do that is we would need to make sure our mobile data was on or we were connected to a Wi-Fi connection. But you download this Hangouts Dialer app, and it works just like a phone. You open it up, you type in the phone number, you click the green button, and you call somebody. So I just want to throw out there, there are several different ways to access Hangouts. And if all the aforementioned are too confusing, you can always visit the Hangouts website. Just google.hangouts.com, and you can do all the aforementioned from that website as well.
Yeah, thank you, Molly. So we will do eventually tutorials on these things if necessary. But just to give you a final tour of what we're doing with the desktop app. So I have one monitor that I pretty much dedicate to my desktop app for communications. And if I just, oh, by the way, let me show you this. I was in a hangout with Lynn Sanders yesterday. We were dealing with MailChimp and working out some differences there. And then we lost connection, and she was trying to come back in, and all of a sudden I was faced with 5 Lynn Sanders. So basically, she was trying to come back in and must have clicked the come back in button 4 or 5 times, and so we had to so we had fun over that, and she's gonna just be appalled that I've shown that. But anyway, if I have this desktop app on this monitor here, and I want to take this conversation that I'm having with Lowell Ann and pop it out, I just click this button over here, a little arrow, and all of a sudden it's on a side chat, separate from the rest of what's going on, and so we can actually start a new conversation, and I could click on WeWake's button. I can have a conversation with him, or I can go up to the arrow again that points up at a 45-degree angle to the upper right, and click on that and put him in there also, and maybe even size these up so that they are not overlapping. There. So I can basically put a quadrant set up of all my conversations and have 4 separate ones going, or as Karen was saying, combinations with some of those with more people. And I've literally had 4 simultaneous individual conversations going with 4 different people and text chatting. And if you don't think I had a sore arm after I got through with that, but the point is that it's possible. And if somebody calls in while you're in those 4, then it pops up as a new conversation, and it will come in here. So I mean, it's really endless. You can have multiple conversations, but it's all controllable. And then when you get done with that, you basically click them out of there, or put them back. Like that's putting WeWake back, and very easy to manage. So if you want, and the thing about it is I open this up with one click in my taskbar. So I really like this thing. And that's my news for the desktop app. I hope you liked it. And
so yeah. So I was gonna say also, Roland, you forgot to talk about the emojis that you could do with your desktop too.
I don't use emojis. You can, come on. Somebody else wants to do a Hangout recording on emojis in the desktop app. That's fine, but I'm not gonna do it.
Well, we don't want to forget the Shruggy either. The Shruggy is it's an emoji of sorts related just to Hangouts. They just did an update to it a couple weeks ago, so I just thought I'd throw that out there.
The Shruggy.
The Shruggy, yeah.
Shrug.
Yeah.
It's an I don't know app, huh? Well, whatever, yeah. It's we're giving so much grand information in this Hangout series of the Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties. I guess we're excused if we introduce a little bit of fluff on this side and talk about Shruggies. Okay, but I certainly don't want to be known for introducing Shruggies to my audience. Any more about the desktop apps and Hangouts, or can we go on to the next thing?
So you can actually also, I would imagine, you can name it. You can have the option of naming them. You can turn on the Hangout history from it, right? You can also, I think, you could also tell people that you're not on it too, right, Roland? In terms of on the Hangout, so people don't know that you're on.
Yeah, you can.
Your privacy issues that that come about. So if
Yeah,
you're
basically,
on it,
with your settings and so forth, you can decide whether you want to even be seen live in Hangouts or available.
mm-hmm.
But the concept to me, the beauty of the concept is that you can let people know if you want to be seen or not, and
Mm-hmm.
be available for people just by setting your app a certain way. And then if you are accessible, if you are actually trying to build your following, how responsive you are to your people, it basically it's like having a door to a building for people to walk in from the street. And of course, you'd prefer them to knock. It's your home. So we have that opportunity. We ping people. So one of the events that we should do is all about the protocols of communication. And something that people step on all the time is that we have this luxury of being able to make video calls in seconds, and Duo in seconds. Duo is even like when you call somebody, they can see your picture before they even decide whether they want to answer the call or not. They can see you there. They can see the video of you doing whatever you're doing. So while you're calling and waiting for somebody to answer the phone, don't be picking your nose or doing anything that you don't want seen on the other end, because they can already see you. So that's just a little clue there.
But there also within Dual too, there are certain privacy features that you can actually turn it off so that they don't see what you're doing. Kind of more of that screening out process. So it's not like it's where they can see you. You can actually block it where they won't see you.
Until they answer the phone?
Until you want to answer the phone, so that they don't see what you're doing.
The person answering the phone is not seen until they answer.
Yeah, but you can also see them, right? So it's kind of like for people who, the whole idea of, the spam callers, where it's someone that you don't want to pick up. We had an ongoing conversation about that, and in one of the comments that said that you can actually block that, so you don't actually have to see it if you don't want to see it.
In other words, the receiving caller does not have to see who's.
Yeah. You can block them, so you don't actually have to see them. You can make the decision whether you want to take the call or not.
Well, it doesn't make sense to me what you're saying, so I'll need some clarification, because right now it's set where if the caller is calling somebody,
Mm-hmm.
they can be seen by the recipient, regardless. And then the recipient is not seen unless they answer the phone. But as soon as they answer the phone, they are now visible. So on the receiving end, if they see the caller or not, sounds to me like it's an advantage.
Not necessarily. I mean, you don't necessarily want to be bothered, right? So you don't necessarily want to have someone's face pop up. Why? I mean, they can't see you. They can't see you, but you can see them. You may not want to see that.
Yeah, I can kind of understand that, but by the same token, it's like if they're calling, I mean, to me, it's like, oh, it's so and so. I can see them. No big deal. I'm not going to take the call. I'm not offended if they're on the video call and they can't see me. It doesn't even matter.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see the point.
Just to weigh in on this, I think what Karen's trying to say is, let's say you just got out of the shower and you washed your hair, okay, and you want to talk to that person, but you don't want them to necessarily see you. So in terms of like the tool on Google Hangouts where I can pause my camera to where nobody can see me, I think that's what she's referring to, is that there's that option.
Is that what you're saying, Karen?
Yeah, there's a way of doing it, because there was an ongoing conversation about privacy issues, because if you're calling somebody and they don't, I mean, they don't know you, it's kind of like, you know, caller ID, right? There's ways that you can actually use Google Duo now that you can actually block that, so you don't actually have to see anybody if you don't want to see them.
I know that you can switch the direction of the camera from front camera to back camera, but I did not know about turning the camera off. So that'll be
Yeah.
something that I have to learn about Duo.
I'll get the link, because it was an ongoing conversation about it, because it's, to me, it's kind of a privacy issue. For me, it's a privacy issue, because it's like, if I don't know you, right, and you're calling me, and I could possibly see you, I may not want to see you because I don't know who you are.
Well, right now, the connection for me on Duo is apparently not open unless I add them to my list. And once I add people, then it's potential, you know, that they would be able to see me or call me. But if they don't have my contact or don't have my phone number and don't add me to their list, then they can't contact me. So what they need is your phone number. And then via the phone number, it activates the ID, which corresponds to, I think, your Google account and whatnot. And it just verifies, yes, this is a real person. Yes, they have a real phone number. And then you connect via the Hangout, I mean the Duo app, via the internet, not the phone line.
I think in terms of the functionality of Duo, you know, what Google's trying to do is make it just easy for people to video conference. So I'm thinking of it from a business perspective. Maybe I'm a field technician and I'm out in a different location and I need to contact headquarters, but I'm looking at an engine, okay, or I'm looking at a project site, and I don't have any way to visualize a problem to say somebody at headquarters who might have a solution to that. So I think in terms of functionality, and you know, in addition to, you know, being more social, you know, peer-to-peer conferencing, I think it also lends function to, say, businesses, in terms of, you know, people who maybe are out in the field, they're traveling, they're on a project site, they're working on, like I said, an engine, or they're working on some type of equipment where they've got a problem and they need maybe a second pair of eyes to take a look at it. I think Duo is a great tool for that. There were actually, a couple weeks ago, I did a class at SC Toyota, and one of the technicians actually asked that question. He's like, well, you know, what if I need to take a snapshot? Well, what's better than a snapshot than a live broadcast of, here's the actual engine, I'm actually looking at it, and, or here's the actual project site, and here's what went wrong, you know, here I'm showing you. And then you can have that second or third or fourth pair of eyes take a look at that situation and be able to brainstorm right there on the spot using Duo to be able to solve a problem. Yeah. So I think in terms of that for business, and even salespeople, you know, even salespeople might be applicable towards them as well.
There's no doubt that we can use video conferencing one-on-one for multiple good strategies and tactics, and I see the value of that. But this is kind of similar to what the business world did to Hangouts. We used something that was meant for people basically hanging out and just not doing anything critical, but hanging out, playing music, you know, chatting and visiting via this video conferencing thing, and we turned it into a business tool. And because of that, or maybe not because of that, but surrounding that, Google Plus and Hangouts failed. So I'm wondering what the purpose of Duo is. I don't think it's for the business aspects, but I do agree that it's going to be invaluable when it comes to business needs. So,
well, in terms of Google Plus and Hangouts, you know, Hangouts is a Google product, and initially when they started Google Plus, they migrated most of their products to Google Plus. Some of them not so much, but for the most part they did. And I think what they're trying to do in terms of, we see all these products being decommissioned from Google Plus. You know, Hangouts, the latest. They've decommissioned several different other products. I think what they're doing in terms of Google Plus is they're trying to make Google Plus just social, and that's why we're seeing these changes happen. Because I've personally been, you know, just monitoring over the last couple of years, you know, why are they detaching all these products? And it's because they want to make the product a product because it's for businesses versus Google Plus, where they're trying to make Google Plus more of a social platform. So
Right.
that's just, in my humble opinion, that's why I think they're separating them.
I'm sure that you're absolutely right about that. And the concept of social media being social media is the exact reason why inbound marketing has to be carefully assigned to social media, because outbound marketing is rejected at a rate of like 90% online. So when you're trying to advertise your company, you think you're getting a few calls and a few incoming, but you're not going to be aware of how much damage your ads are doing to your brand. And so I think it's a very, very tricky and slippery slope.
Well, in terms of inbound marketing, or what I refer to as engagement marketing,
Yep.
Duo could actually be used as that. So say like you're a customer and you're on a website and you have a question, and a customer service rep was actually able to contact you via Google Duo. Me as a customer, I'm thinking, wow, I'm pretty important to have somebody video conference me and give me
Absolutely.
an answer to my question right live in person. I'm on your website, or I'm in your store. I might be upstairs in the clothing section, and I've got a question about brand, and I can click a link, and somebody calls me via Duo and says, "How can I help you?" "Oh, I have a question about financing this, this car," or "I have a question about, how can you help me understand this product better?" To actually have that live video conferencing capability where a customer service rep or an in-store rep can instantly connect with a customer, I think that's valuable, not only to the business because they get information to the customer, but it makes the customer feel important because they have that instant access and that instant engagement where they can get their questions answered.
Right.
So,
Well,
so,
there'll be no argument from me as far as the value.
so back to this whole blocking part, I actually sent a link in the community for people to see. So you can disable it, where if it says here, it's from CNET. So before you worry about seeing anything you don't want to see from the other line, know that you can only receive knock-knocks from people who are already in your contact list. You can also block individual people from calling you. By the way, when you block a person on Duo, the person won't know it. When they call, they'll hear your line ring and ring continuously. So
I'll
you
be
can,
darned.
yeah, so you can do that. So if knock knock really isn't your thing, you can disable it altogether in your dual setting menu. You can disable knock knock on a person-to-person basis though, so it's knock knock or nothing. Or you can't disable it on a person-to-person. You have to either turn it on or turn it off. It's not individualized at this moment.
So if they turn it off, it means that you can only use, or you're not notified if you have an incoming call. What does that mean?
You just won't see them. It will just ring. It looks like it says if knock knock really isn't your thing, you can disable it altogether in your settings. You can disable knock knock on a person. You can't disable knock knock on a person-to-person basis though. It's knock knock or nothing.
So in other words, uh, if you turn that off,
Mm-hmm.
then the app is of no use unless you use it yourself.
Yeah, you mean you just don't see, you won't see it. And it also says here that Dual does one thing and one thing only. It's video calls on your phone or tablet versus Hangouts can be, on your desktop. It can be on different mediums. But for Dual, it's just your phone or your tablet.
Right.
One thing
And
I'd also, I'm just really super quick. One thing, if you guys have questions about Duo, Google has a Duo help forum. So there are top contributors, rising stars, community manager. If you have any questions, just go Google Duo help forum. It'll take you to the forum, and you can post your question about anything related to Duo.
yeah, and it says also too that unlike Hangouts, Dual only reaches people through their phone numbers, not through your Gmail. So other than downloading the app, you won't be forced from anyone to log into a Google account or sign up for a new service. And the best difference between it and Hangouts is it uses end-to-end encryption, so your data can't be viewed from third parties or even Google itself.
So,
Good to know.
Yeah. So to me that's a cool feature. So that if you're into not having your data be seen, right? You might want to use Dual because no one can get access to it.
Well, not to mention the fact that not everybody likes Gmail. So
Yeah.
the fact that it's not related to a Google product where you do have to log into a Google account, I think that's a nice feature too, because you're using something provided by Google, but it doesn't necessarily mean the person has to be on Google or Gmail or any of that stuff to interact with that person.
So this is all really interesting stuff on Duo. I'm glad we extended the conversation. And the three people most prolifically on the community page for Internet Mobile contributing to the conversation are Andrew Hatchett, WeWake, and also Lowland. And so thank you very much for going to that page and contributing. I also think that there are issues with standard Google community chat and Google Post chat, so it's still not the optimum concept, but I thank you very much for participating. And let me check one more thing. The the YouTube chat looks like, let's see. So much of these Hangouts is an experiment right now, so I appreciate that.
You must have like a ton of windows open.
Oh, I don't even want to tell you.
It's like...
So for the second week now, I've been intending to discuss Google Slides, and we literally have to save it for next week. So I will definitely add that to next week, and we can add whatever subjects ping pong off of what we talked about today. And we're still going to be getting settled on the concepts of comments and what we want to do to refine interaction for our sessions here on Smarties, because indeed we have to announce to the audience the best way to do engagement video. That's the whole objective, is to take the most engaging aspect of what we can do online, demonstrate it for you here, and counsel you on how to do it as we're doing it, and or better, and give you the ins and outs of what you can pursue to be able to do this with potentially free apps or affordable apps that will conquer the problems to solve the needs of us as promoters of businesses. So thank you, Jillian, for commenting, who was out there also. I see Deborah Burden. Thank you very much for being there and commenting. And sorry we didn't get to everything that we wanted to, but we had some fun with Duo, and we have been going over the Hangouts Chrome Desktop App a few times. But I really encourage you, if you're not using it, to try it out. And it's going to help organize what you're doing, and it'll be the salvation if they leave it up. It'll be the salvation. It's a good interactive communicating device, and that's the way I do it, and that's the way I've been doing it. Now it's even better. So hopefully that they'll keep that around. But next week we're going to get into slides, and we're going to ask everybody to participate on a Q&A session where you actually submit statements from the field, from wherever you are, going to a specific page where you can access the Google Slides presentation, and then maybe we'll be able to show those things live in a screen share in the actual Hangout itself. So that's next week. And in the meantime, you guys have any final words about today?
I think just to reiterate in terms of the comment thread that we have, Andrew did include the Dual Help Center link, so for people, and also the Dual product form. So for people who want to know more about the product, thanks Andrew for including the links for everyone to take a look and check it out.
Absolutely, I really appreciate all the contributions, and this is the reason that we value the input from the field and from these chats so much. And for that to go away would be a real bad idea from Google. So let's hope that they've got something better in mind, and we will pursue the opportunity to prove them right in the future episodes of Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties. So we're going to say good day to everybody, and thank you very much. Thank you very much for being with us and participating. And we're going to be signing off on this Saturday, the first Saturday in September.
Happy Labor Day.
Happy Labor Day, everyone. Have a good one. Bye now.